We're back, another episode of MPTV, and this time we've got another member of the team. We've got my man Tom Mosher, or as Siri says, Tom Mosher, but that's a dispute.
I don't like Siri.
That could be a lawsuit.
It could be.
So, Tom, tell the studio audience. I guess we don't have technically a studio audience. It's internet audience. Tell who Tom Mosher is.
What's up, everybody? My name's Tom. I work on the agency side of the business. Yep. We refer to that internally as Restaurant Marketing That Works.
RMT Dub?
RMT Dub, exactly. We do marketing for restaurant, and it works. So how do I fit into all that? When our clients come on board, I build out their campaigns. Now, I'm not talking about the strategy of the campaigns. That comes from somewhere else. But the actual execution of them, how do we make everything work? How do we deliver what we say we are going to deliver? That is where I fit in. And then I also do a lot of the reporting on those campaigns. So I kind of put all the pieces together and make sure the work gets done and evaluate those results as well.
And that role's grown. And like you've had numerous titles. You had the tech team. You've had the build team. We're eventually going to come up with something really cool. I like that maybe we get a division eventually called like Team Money Mosher.
And the Team Money Millionaires.
Team Money Millionaires. I mean, you could have like your own little rap group. You could do a song about Dua Lipa, like Jack Harlow.
Maybe I already have one.
Maybe you already have one. So also you're from Northern Kentucky?
Yes.
Born and raised?
Erlanger.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Erlanger, baby. That's where I'm from.
Moved to Independence. Lived in Covington for a long time.
Yep.
Kind of took a little detour, spent some time in Texas, but made it back up here, and here I am.
And you've traveled the world. You've hiked a lot.
Yep.
Hiking's your passion?
Hiking is my big thing. So I like to call myself, I've been day hiking for a while, but at the beginning of this year, I decided I wanted to kind of take that to the next level. So I've actually been backpacking. So put the tent, put the food, put everything in the backpack, walk as many miles as I can, try to find a nice flat spot and sleep out in the woods.
Love it. And you've got a son?
Yep. Son, 8 years old, Lucas. He is getting ready we just finished up spring baseball. We finished that up a while ago. He's been doing swimming lately, and now we're getting ready to start fall baseball. So
love it. And how we found each other is funny.
It is. It's really funny. So I knew I wanted to get into the digital marketing world.
Yep.
Right. So I just kind of started doing my research. I actually bought a course.
But before that, you've worked in restaurants.
Yeah. Well, so I knew I wanted to get into digital marketing. And I actually wanted to not do restaurants for a while because I had spent so much time in restaurants, bartender, server, manager, general manager, all that stuff.
What, 8 to 10 years?
8 or so. So a few different concepts, a few different places. And I was like, I think I'm done with restaurants. Digital marketing seemed like the way to go. And as much as I tried to resist it, it was like, I know restaurants.
Yep.
I know people who own restaurants. Now I just need to learn how to do the marketing side of that. And so I looked around online. I found a Facebook group of a guy who was living, I think, in the Canary Islands at the time. And he's a super charismatic guy, very fun. I was like, all right, this is the right place for me. I'm going to join this group. And Kevin would do these live videos in the group every day, and he was always talking about his mentor, Matt Plapp. Is like, Matt Plapp taught me this. I learned everything I know from Matt Plapp. And I was like, all right, well, Kevin, you're cool, but who's this Matt Plapp guy? Maybe I need to learn from him. So I looked you up, and I'm from Erlanger, lived in Covington at the time. You lived in Union, which is literally right down the road. And I was like, no way. I just couldn't believe it. So.
Oh, it's funny. Like you went from here to the Canary Islands, wherever they're at, and then back here, and here it is.
Yeah, so wild. So wild. So I sent you a message, and I think true to form, you responded to it within like 10 minutes. And so, yeah, that was the start of getting to know you, and I joined the agency program. Kind of did my own thing there for a while. Decided kind of early on that I really like the fulfillment side of things, which is what I do now. And I'll let guys like you and guys like Doug and other people on the team go out there and sell it.
Talk about it and sell it,
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny. I liked that side of you. When I first met you, I know we had lunch at Sugar Fire Barbecue once.
Yep.
Maybe had lunch somewhere else. I can't remember where. But I remember telling Doug, like, hey, there's this guy that's in the agency program. It's local. And for a lot of you out there, when I wrote my first book in 2018, I wrote a book in Billie Jean Shaw, not Billie Jean from Michael Jackson.
Right.
Billie Jean Shaw. I had a friend of mine who goes, there's actually a Billie Jean. I'm like, well, it's Billie Jean Shaw. But Billie taught me how to do a webinar and helped me set up this whole idea of this book launch with a membership site behind it for restaurants to learn a higher element of digital marketing and specifically tying in automation with customer acquisition online. And I did it, and it went amazing, except for 98% of the people who joined the webinar, bought the training, were not restaurants, they were agencies. And I didn't know that many of me existed out there. And so eventually meet you, and I remember telling Doug, I'm like, dude, I met this guy who's in the training, who's ironically local, and he's got a little more love or passion for like that, the other side of it.
Yeah.
And you've got to have, there's so many elements. Like there's certain things in the business I forced myself to do that I didn't really like doing, but I had to learn them. And same with you. Yeah. And then you came on board, and it's been, I think this fall or winter is like 3 years, right?
Yeah, coming up on it. So I started out, when I started working with you, it was as a freelancer, and then that became part-time, and that became full-time. And yeah, we are coming up on 3 years this fall. Man, time flies.
Time flies.
Yeah.
So what's something that gets you excited with regards to what we do with restaurants? And then after that, what is like a big opportunity that you see that restaurants could definitely take advantage of?
So as far as, look, I worked in restaurants for a long time, and I know, like, if you step foot in the back of house in a restaurant kitchen, right, that is kind of it can be like a black hole of inefficiency. Okay. So what gets me excited is what we can do for restaurants to make them more efficient.
Love it.
So, you know, when it comes to, say, acquiring new customers, and what exactly does that mean? How do we get somebody that maybe has even never heard of a restaurant before? How do we get them to set foot in there? Well, we do that by coming up with a very good offer, or maybe a very good few offers to test. Yeah. And then we promote those offers. And then we get those offers in front of those people, and then we get some information in return when they claim those. So the whole, like, automating and promoting of offers, collecting information, and building up huge databases for these customers really gets me excited. And before you know it, they have lists of hundreds of people, thousands of people that have raised their hand, and they say, hey, I really want to try you out. Or, it's been a while since I've been there. This is the thing to get me to come back in. Or, I already go there a lot. Thank you so much. And things like that. So that really gets me excited. Now, as far as what's coming down the line and what opportunities there are, you know, we do so many things. We dip our toes into, we know what works, right? But we're always testing out to see new things. So as far as what's coming down the line, there's different platforms that we can try out. Like, we know Facebook, we know Instagram, we know, and this is often overlooked, like in-store. Yeah. We know how to acquire customers there, but there's some very popular platforms out there right now that we're testing, doing some things with Google, doing some things with TikTok. So we're always looking for, while we're sharpening what we do, what we know that works, we're always looking for kind of what's coming down the road. So that's kind of exciting.
Did I tell you about my almost in-store opportunity the other night?
An almost in-store opportunity. No.
So me and my son and wife went to watch Elvis, which, by the way, awesome movie. If you haven't seen it yet. Okay. Really, I didn't know that much about Elvis, and it's awesome. And my son has resemblance of Elvis if you look at some pictures. And so my wife always says he looks like a young Elvis. So we
know what he kind of does.
And so we went and watched it. Well, my son got to pick dinner.
Okay.
Because I always pick, and he's like, I'm picking. We're going to BJ's. And I'm like, I haven't been to BJ's Brew House in a long time. So we go to BJ's, which I guess is a chain. I'm not really sure. I don't think it's a big one.
There's a few.
Yeah, there's a few of them. I don't know if it's independently owned and locations. But anyways, we go there, sit down, and my big pet peeve is there's 3 questions that every restaurant, every retail business asks.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? What do you want to drink? What do you want to eat? How are you paying? And we walk in, we sit down. Guy walks up and doesn't do that. I got excited. Like literally, it was like, oh. He goes, hey, you guys a member of BJ's Brew Club? It was whatever it was called. I go, no, I'm not. Okay, what do you want to drink? Come on, bro. Like
you were there.
You were there. Like all you had to do was go, what?
Yeah.
You know you get a free dessert when you sign up. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. Scan this. Answer 6 questions. I thought it was there.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we've got the americasbestrestaurants.com/stats, which we feed a lot of data in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the biggest things is that most places don't have a tool to gather data correctly.
Right.
And then the people that do don't freaking use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like BJ's has a Lamborghini and they took the wheels off it.
Right. And that's a good point. It's like, so that's where we come in a lot is we do have the tools that we can, we can get these builds that we do turned around in a very short amount of time. So once a client onboards with us, like we'll do the build, we'll get them ready to go. And right there, they have the tool in place to, if you, Matt Plapp, are going to sit down for a restaurant, hey, have you been here before?
Yep.
Yes, I have. No, I haven't. Are you a member of XYZ VIP Club or whatever the case may be? No, I'm not. Well, when you scan this, we're going to get your email address. We're going to send you this offer for your next visit. It's going to be a buy one, get one free, whatever, free dessert, free appetizer, whatever the case may be. We have built those systems and we can get those activated quickly.
Oh, real quick.
Like right when somebody onboards with us. The next part of that equation is training that server, training that bartender, training that manager, training that cashier, whatever the place may be, to actually follow through with that. So it sounds like maybe this particular server's training stopped like halfway.
Stop.
It's like, hey, are you a member? No, I'm not. Well, what do you want to drink?
And I was like, man, wow, almost. Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity there. And the one thing that you got me excited about a couple years ago, which I didn't think it would work. And it was you and Doug, like when Apple Spice came on. Mm-hmm. And you and Doug built out the catering acquisition. Because, let's face it, if you're like Apple Spice is a catering-only company, but if you're a casual dining restaurant and you can start the day with $1,000 or $2,000 catering order,
sure,
that's pretty nice. I mean, that's where it's at. And I'll never forget when you and Doug worked on it. Now it's working on autopilot for a lot of our restaurant clients. They're getting 100 people a month that aren't just saying, hey, enter me to win the meals,
right?
The contest for a catered lunch, but here's my name, here's my position, here's my company name, here's our size, and here's how often we order catering.
Right.
I looked at one the other day, a sample size, because Dickie's, one of our franchise clients, so we have a couple locations, he came on board with catering. We looked at it, and he literally, this test from Apple Spice, there was 100 people we looked at in 3 weeks, and like 40 of them said they order catering every other week.
Right.
And he's like, wow, that one or two of those pays for whatever I spend to do it.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how many people in the restaurant world recognize the value of data.
Yeah.
And that's become so apparent to us. We didn't know what opportunity was there at first either, but it's become so apparent with us when it comes to the catering. So in order to enter our catering contest or our catering flow, in order to get the offer, we find out we go for business catering because we figure there's some predictability there, right? Yep. People hopefully only get married once, so you're only going to cater that once, ideally.
I do know a guy that married the same woman 3 times.
The same woman
no
3
shit.
times.
2 divorces, 3 marriages, same lady over 30 years. But
third time's the charm, I guess. I hope. So typically, you're not going to get repeat business on like the event catering or whatever. So the business lunches are more predictable. Those are the type of catering gigs we want to acquire for our clients that offer that. Yeah. So, like you said, who are we talking to? What's their position? What do they do? How often do they order catering? Is it like a once a month thing? Is it every couple weeks? Is it rarely? And then our clients, once we turn that information over to them, they can filter, they can sort, they can be like, okay, our sweet spot it's businesses who have 30 to 50 employees and they order catering at least twice a month. And they can have very productive conversations with those people that fit that criteria.
And that's the key element of the conversation. I had one of our clients recently, we were looking at two of them, and one of them was doing really well and one of them was doing average. And after answering a couple questions, we found out the person was doing really well. When that person fills out that form, and it happens like 20 seconds, they get an email that says, hey, here's Matt Plapp's info. Here's his name, his phone number, his company name. Here's all the data we just found out.
Yep.
They call him in 15 minutes. This other business was calling him every couple of days. And that was a key element, was there's a lot of research in the digital marketing customer acquisition world that if you get a lead at your car dealership, you get a lead for catering, that 15-minute window, in even a couple hours is a huge difference from 2 or 3 days later. And just simply picking the phone up and saying, hey, got your entry. I hope you win. I would love it. By the way, I see that you cater every month. Have you ever had our restaurant cater one of your meetings? No, we haven't. We'd love to do it. Can I come drop some samples off and shake your hand?
Yeah.
And nobody's doing it.
Dude, that is so valuable. So, what gets me excited, I love to build these little digital processes that do the work for you, try to make things as efficient as possible and do all that. But even though I can do a lot of those things when it comes to offers and customer acquisition and so on and so forth for restaurants, there is nothing that will replace, the value that a personal introduction and a handshake and a phone call. There's nothing that can automate that part, and there's nothing that can replace its value. It really does go a long way to doing some of the things like, establishing a restaurant in the community. Yeah. And like, where's the spot that we want to go after a Friday night high school football game and stuff like that. So yeah, that's incredibly valuable, and it's a very good point.
I mean, Sean Walchef always talks about how a lot of restaurants are hardcore with hospitality inside their four walls. But outside of the four walls, digitally, they're not. It's like, somebody leaves you a review online, say thank you.
Sure.
Don't just respond to the bad ones. Talk to the good ones. Somebody comments on your Facebook post, comment back.
Sure.
Somebody gives you their birthday, and their birthday's coming up in a week. Why the hell not call them?
Yeah.
And I was talking to a client the other day about this, and I had this wild idea. I said, a lot of our clients, they call it the golden mile. The majority of the consumers that eat at your restaurant come within 1 to 3 miles of your restaurant.
Sure.
If you look at any restaurant, that's probably 5 to 10,000 people. All you really need is 500 to 1,000 to consistently eat at your place to make a big impact. And I'm like, dude, why not figure out a way to get everybody? What if you had everybody within that 3-mile radius's phone number?
Yeah.
If you did something crazy that got everybody in that 3-mile radius to give you their name and phone number, and you did something really wild, you called them and introduced yourself. Hey, what's up? My name's Matt. I own XYZ Restaurant. I wanted to thank you for joining our VIP program. Think about the impact. Like I always talk about our business. My whole job here, I've got to become better at is LMS, lead, market, and sell. Selling's easy for me. I love marketing. I've got to become a better leader. Well, a lot of restaurant owners are too busy in the damn kitchen doing certain things. Why not take, I'm going to work 60 hours this week. I'm going to do 30 hours calling and talking to people and 30 hours around the restaurant. Look at the impact. If you called, imagine if Sugar Fire Barbecue that went out of business down there, imagine if that guy would have spent, the first year he was open, connecting personally with every single person in the community. There's no way he closes.
Yeah, 100%. It's like we can help do certain things, but there are certain things that just require that level of connection and effort in the community. And believe me, I know how busy things get in a restaurant. Like as much work as you can do, there is work to be done. So you have to make it a priority, whether it's you, the owner, or I've heard about systems. I didn't do, at one of the places I worked, it was kind of like this, like, if you're a manager, you're going to work 4 shifts inside the 4 walls, but one of your shifts, quote unquote, outside. You're going to do community outreach. You're just going to go to all these hotels down here, drop off an order of whatever your best-selling item is, make the people who are working the front desk very happy. And then what happens in that case? The people who stay there, they're going to ask, hey, where's a good place to eat? And that's where they're going to go. So that community outreach, that relationship building, it can be done on the phone when you get these phone numbers. It has to be something that you do consistently to really set yourself apart
Yeah.
in the market.
That's the big thing is I always come up with crazy marketing ideas. And I'm like, I just now think of myself, why don't I call every damn restaurant in the country? Hey, what's up? It's Matt Platt, CEO of America's Best Restaurant. Just call and say hi.
Yeah.
Call and introduce us. Call and let you know we've got resources that can help you become a better restaurant if you're interested. But I think that restaurants, if you don't think at that level, we talk about blue ocean, red ocean, that the red ocean is doing what everybody does, a coupon in Reach magazine, a radio ad, a direct mail piece. The blue ocean is, picking up the phone and calling those people and telling them happy birthday and telling them thank you for entering the contest for catering, or worst case scenario, just saying, hey, I want to meet you.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, one of the reasons I wanted to do these was I think I mentioned this in the team meeting the other day, was I'm always on podcasts talking about restaurants. Like, you need to showcase your team. You need to highlight. I'm like, shit, we don't do that. And so we're going to start doing this. We've had Ashley was the first podcast, because I've done some of the other people that are involved, like with the Roadshow, David and Doug, and Luis. But Ashley was the first. You're the second one.
All right.
And then we've got the series. I don't know if you saw us film Lisa, where it's called What the Hell Do You Do at ABR?
Yeah.
Where we're going to catch you on your computer and we're going to come and talk and have you show us some stuff.
Okay.
So I look forward to that one.
Very cool.
Appreciate all you do.
All right, man.
That's all we got. This episode of MPTV. We'll see you next time.